folks, this is a brand new show, and of course we're going to be covering the most important topic you can imagine. Right now we're covering the story gripping the nation, Ethan Klein versus Hasan Parker, and specifically, did I say Hasan Parker? Hasan Piker. And specifically, Parker, yeah. Hasan Parker. And specifically, I want to acknowledge the fact that all of this could have been avoided in the most parasocial way. Not even talking about the bigger thing of the genocide, though we're going to bring that up. But I want to start with this, a question. Have you been following this drama? Or are you like a normal person and paying attention to the real world?
I think I'm semi-normal because like I've been following it more than the average person. I watched the first 1 hour of their debate, and then I was like, I'm never revisiting this. I'm never watching this again. I don't care about either of these people. And frankly, during that first hour that I did watch, I thought both of them said a lot of really stupid shit. We can maybe go into details on that because there's probably a lot I missed in the next million hours of that stream as well. But yeah, these are not people I really watch often, either of them. I used to watch H3 a lot in like 2015, 2016, when he was collabing with like iDubbbz and stuff. Those were the classics. I still love those videos. They're really funny.
Yep.
I have some rough understanding of like, there was like some CPS thing with him, and then like there was some tier list that I really did not care about, or there was like a thumbnail for the tier list, which like a lot of it seems really, really silly. A lot of it seems a lot less silly, like the CPS stuff, but overall it seems like I don't need to know about this. I will be totally fine if I know nothing about it.
Well, unfortunately for you, you're going to be learning about it. So I'm going to try to give a quick rundown, quick context. Ethan Klein, I also watched him way back in the day, way more than the podcast. The podcast never really interested me unless it was something big, like, I don't know, when he brought Sam Seder on and jumped Steven Crowder. That was wonderful. That made my dick tinkle a little bit. But like, overall, I don't find his podcast that interesting. I think they go crazy with the soundboard. I think there are certain things about his personality that I just don't like. I have defended him in the past because I am much more online than you, I assume. And when he transitioned politically more towards a liberal direction, a lot of his old fans were real mad at him. They were like, you changed, you're this, you're woke, you're this. And I have a video on my channel defending him because my position is this. He's not your dad. He's not your friend. He will have evolving views, and it's not the end of the world. Now, the reason why I turn on him, it's not for the reason like I need him to fully align with me, because I don't care. You know, a lot of we're both political content creators. Every political content creator out there, I don't think you'll ever find perfect alignment with. And you push that aside and you recognize what they can do. And Ethan's not necessarily like a political content creator, but he's a content creator. My issue is on obviously the Israel-Palestine stuff ever since October 7th, when him and Hasan were having like a much more like trying to be respectful conversation. It was so clear he was making that war about himself. Like it was just the most obvious thing on the planet. I think that turned a lot of people off. For me as well, I don't like how he treated, you know, you're into boxing and combat sports broadly. Have you heard of the Creator Clash?
Yeah, that's iDubbbz event, yeah.
iDubbbz event, yeah. I was at the Creator Clash, the first one and the second one. I loved that shit. It was amazing. And I met the guy by the name of Dad. His real name is Nathan Barnett. He's the crazy looking motherfucker that got knockouts in both of his fights. He's the nicest dude you'll ever meet. The nicest dude you'll ever meet. I coincidentally, completely accidentally, stayed in the same hotel as all the YouTubers. It was fucking crazy. And they were having like some VIP party thing, and I was staying on the outside. Like a lot of people were outside just kind of roaming and talking to people, and I met a bunch of YouTubers. I have a bunch of pictures. It's great. And Dad, Nathan Barnett, bro got me food from the inside. That's a kind motherfucker, a kind soul. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, he didn't have to do that for me either, because I'm a nobody. But in the second Creator Clash, he was back, and he was fighting AV, who's like one of these guys that work for Ethan Klein. And I get like pre-fight shit talk, but usually you leave that with the fighter versus the fighter, and maybe the trainer hops in. And if the fighter is the type of guy to always have their dad around them, like Devin Haney's dad's gonna come in. You know what I'm saying?
Like Tommy Fury.
Or Tommy Fury, right? But Ethan Klein, he was weird about dad. And I think it's because he probably viewed Mr. Nathan Barnett as as trying to like leech off his clout, leech off AB's clout. So like Nathan wanted to, for example, come on the podcast and do some fucking banter with AB, and he was supposed to be able to call in, but then Ethan was being weird about it. Ethan was saying a lot of weird shit. Ethan at some point said he has a lot of that Nathan has dead wife energy. His wife is dead. Which is fucked up to say.
That's crazy.
That's pretty fucked up. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And then when the fight happened, AB got his ass beat by dad, Mr. Nathan Barnett, and Nathan was respectful at the end, as most boxers are, and was giving a lot of love to the H3 community, to AB, and even then, I get it, like, your boy lost, and it's scary because AB sat down, he couldn't get up, maybe, like, his rib got bruised or something, I don't know. But Ethan was talking mad shit. Now, that was 2023, I believe, and that really kind of made me like, I don't know how I feel about this guy. Okay, getting into the Israel-Palestine stuff, getting into the politics stuff. Like I said, he seemed to make October 7th all about him. That's pretty cringe. He ended his podcast with Hasan, which felt like, damn, you're really doing this over Israel. That's kind of crazy. And I understand Hasan can say things that sound a little edgy. For example, his Houthis takes. But, you know, Trump surpassed Hasan. Trump was literally giving us like a conference or a press conference where he's like, those Houthis, they're real strong. They're real brave. Honestly, they've taken a lot. And now my understanding is the Houthis agreed to stop hitting any U.S. ships, and we're going to stop bombing them. Also, going back to Democrats real quick, y'all gave Trump a W there. I'm sorry. Y'all are making Trump look like a peacekeeper if he's able to make deals with the Houthis that we couldn't because we wanted to fight so hard on behalf of Israel. Going back to Ethan Klein, the actual serious news. So, yeah, he's been kind of getting obsessed with Hasan after they had their breakup. I think he has a lot more pro-Israel views than he would like to say. He likes to be like, I'm against the genocide, I'm against this, I'm against that, I'm for Palestine. But then he goes heavy against pro-Palestine creators. He had some drama with Vosh. We don't need to relitigate the entire Vosh drama. But to me, looking from the outside, it felt like, I think this guy is trying to dip his toes in and test the waters when it comes to attacking a left-wing creator, because he had grown this left-wing audience, and going after Vosh is kind of a safe bet because he's kind of controversial even on the left. But then I was like, he's gonna go after Hasan, and then later in the year I was proven right because he has gone insane. And I'm narrativizing a bit. I'm sure if you're talking to H3 fans, it's gonna sound different. I'm not the biggest Hasan viewer. I like Hasan. I think he makes a positive impact. I think it's good to have one of the biggest creators being on the left, even if they're to my left, because I think you need more radical elements to move the Overton window, and then you're not going to necessarily get to their end, but you'll get more close to my end. That's like, there was a lot of communists in the labor movement in the 1930s during Roosevelt's time. Anyway, so I'm trying to finish up this real quick. Ethan and Hasan start beefing. Ethan is very clearly getting involved, and he's getting involved with like Destiny. He rejected that he's involved in Destiny in the debate. This is the same thing I have with like Trump supporters. I'm like, why do we accept, like with Trump supporters and Ethan fans, why do you accept like such obvious fucking lies? Like, it's just the most obvious lies. So much of these talking points Ethan didn't make himself. These are like DGG talking points. We both met Destiny, so we're practically equals. No, I personally don't like Destiny. There's obviously the sex pest stuff, and I think overall he has just like a bad personality. He's too contrarian. I saw something where there was this Twitter post of this guy that had lung cancer, and his insurance, Cigna, I believe, agreed to, cover for a replacement lung. And then they were like, lol, never mind. And then people on Twitter were obviously like, man, fuck these guys. People were like, this is clearly, we wonder why people sympathize with Luigi. It's obvious. You can't just agree, we're going to help you get a new lung and be like, lol, never mind, NVM. But then Destiny comes in and be like, Americans just want everything for free. And it's like, okay, bro, I get it. Like, I like seeing him go up against the Republicans. I do. But, like, don't be such a cunt. Okay, is that too bad a word for YouTube? I don't know. Mm-hmm. But don't somebody's fucking dying. Don't be like don't be like, man, you guys are just a little too selfish. Some people die and that's life. And it's like, bro, he could just get a new lung. Just get him a new lung. He pays every month to this bullshit insurance company. He definitely fulfilled his deductible. He's definitely paying copays. Give this motherfucker a lung. This is insane. Anyway, going back to the serious news, Ethan Klein. So we're getting to the end of 2024. Election time is coming. Ethan Klein is clearly working with Destiny's community to berate, to harass, and go crazy in an attempt to get Ethan Klein Hasan deplatformed. In an attempt to, they're trying to, force Twitch's hand. They're trying, Ethan has called Dan Clancy, the CEO of Twitch, a pedophile multiple times, has called him, a terrorist supporter, which I don't think is the best strategy for convincing him to act on your behalf. But it's getting real intense. Around October, when we were both in Los Angeles for that Ben Shapiro video in Jubilee, I was looking at my phone when I was in the hotel, and I'm saying, damn, Richie Torres, the fucking congressman, is trying to make official statements using his Congress seal about fucking Hasan Piker drama. Hasan would make some appearances on CNN in some college campuses, and apparently, these campuses and these news people were spammed 20,000 copy and paste emails. First of all, I think it's a bad strategy. You're not convincing anybody by doing this. You're just making yourself seem weird by spamming people. And clearly his momentum has still been upward. He's fine. And then the CPS thing happened eventually. We're skipping a few months. They weren't able to deplatform him. Mm-hmm. He had the only massive left-wing stream among independent content creators. The rest were right-wing streams. They were trying to make it 100% right-wing streams only. The CPS stuff happens. So he blames Ethan Klein, Hasan's community. I don't think he fully blames Hasan, but he blames another creator, Denims. I don't know if you ever heard of Denims, but she's a mid-sized creator.
I know about her only in the context of the CPS situation.
Yeah. I think the first time I saw her was, she like us was a political creator trying to come up. You know what I'm saying? And she was going on different streamers' streams. I'm sure she's been on Destiny's stream. I know for sure she was on Vosh's stream. That's how I saw her. And then she's good with Hasan, been on his stream, and is kind of in his orbit. She reacted to a clip of Ethan Klein saying that his dog has some diarrhea sickness. This is making the dog shit everywhere.
Yeah, the Giardia stuff. I remember.
Giardia.
Stuff, yeah.
Yep. And then she just reacted to it, and she was like, that's kind of gross. But in that clip, gotta remember, Ethan was saying his kid has it, his wife has it, he has it. Now, after the fact, he claims that the kid and them did not have it, but in the same clip, he says, and that's way, way later, but in the same clip, he says something like, you only get it by consuming fecal matter. So people were like, is your kid eating shit? That's really concerning. All Denims did was react to it. I understand. Everybody's fucking sympathizing with Ethan Klein. Not everybody, obviously, but a lot of people are like, this is fucking horrible. This is this is that. I'm sorry. I don't sympathize. It sucks to have the CPS called, but I'll say this, man. Stop oversharing. This is it. Going away, I'm not even going to cover the debate. I think he was bad faith with Hasan, like insanely bad faith. People are saying, oh man, like the Destiny fans are saying, Ethan Klein, he beat Sam Seder, he beat Hasan. No, he didn't. What are we fucking doing? He did not fucking beat. It didn't happen. Okay, we're not even gonna go into it because this is already 15 minutes long, and this is mainly me just telling you a story. But
I have some thoughts to share when you're done, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'll finish the context here. I think Ethan Klein should have learned that oversharing is a mistake. I think he could have learned that from a person that he supposedly looked up to, none other than Bill Burr, in this clip right here. I think this is the right clip.
So, I mean, yeah.
Really? How many siblings do you have?
I don't know, dude. The internet's too fucking weird to
Wait a minute, am I sharing it to you? Hold on. Let me share
I'm
it to
not
you.
seeing it now.
Okay.
Okay.
I got you. Very professional operation here. Okay. So this is the clip.
So, I mean, yeah.
Really? How many siblings do you have?
I don't know, dude. The internet's too fucking weird to give out all that information.
Oh, you don't even want to say how many because you're afraid that it will
Yeah, by all means,
compromise
keep
your
talking
privacy.
about it. Is there any way you can cut this out? I'm honest, dude. Like,
Seriously?
Yeah, no, dude. There's fucking lunatics out there.
Okay.
Well,
Off the air, I'll cut it.
all right.
Jeez. I love how surprised he is. Jeez.
Well,
There's
you can mention the
there's
amount.
absolutely crazy people. So, I mean, yeah.
Okay, so I bring this clip up. Because it's such a lesson he could have learned. It's like, brother, don't overshare. Bill Burr, this guy that he claimed to be a massive fan of, literally said there's freaks on the fucking internet. Say like, and if you're talking about your kid, making it seem like your kid's eating shit, and you have a bunch of very intense haters, it's the dumbest fucking thing. But then, like, so I sympathize if he's innocent and his kid's not eating shit, but then the CPS was called anyway. I sympathize that people should not have fake CPS calls on them. But I can't sympathize with him just being like, this is Denham's fault. Denham's called CPS on me. Denham's community did this. And in turn, Hasan's community. It's like, bro, like, this is your fault, dog. This is your fault. I think he needs to pull back. Simple as that. He's burnt a lot of bridges, burnt it with iDubbbz, all that shit. He needs to take a step back. Maybe go back to editing your content rather than making a podcast. Anyway, I spoke a lot. I want to hear your thoughts.
So like, yeah, there's a few different things here. I'll say number one, I only watched the first hour of his conversation with Hasan. And I think, not to sound like an enlightened centrist or something, but there were certain points that like I think Ethan was wrong on. There were certain points I think Hasan was wrong on. So like the tier list thing, he said like, oh, there's this thumbnail and like you're next to Ben Shapiro in the thumbnail, and that's like because I'm Jewish or something. That seemed like a big reach to me. That like framing that thumbnail as anti-Semitic seemed like a reach. With that being said, the sword thing to me, I feel like Hasan did not engage with in good faith because. You know what I'm referring to, like the sword with the hilt or whatever that's shaped like the swastika.
Yeah.
If Hasan had just said like, yeah, it's not actually a swastika, but you're right, it is like a bad look, and like we probably in hindsight should not have used that sword for the video. I think that would have been the proper response from Hasan. But the fact that he, and maybe my slight bias against Hasan is going to come out in this because I'm not like. I don't watch either of them for a reason, which is that I don't particularly like either of them very much.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
I'm sure Hasan has a positive impact in some regards. Like, I'm not saying he's like this horrible person, but like, I don't like when in a conversation you keep calling someone crazy and delusional and insane, because I feel like that's like when Ethan was like, hey, like, can you at least acknowledge that like this is a bad look? And Hasan was like, no, I think you're just insane. That to me felt very bad faith, because like, I understand saying, okay, we grabbed the sword. It's not actually a swastika sword. It's like some other, I think, Buddhist or Japanese or something else symbol. It's not actually
from Bleach. The anime Bleach.
Right. Okay. It's from Bleach. Yeah. But Hasan and others have acknowledged, like, okay, it does look like a swastika, though, like very obviously. So like as iDubbbz, and I wouldn't actually blame Hasan for this. I would put this more on iDubbbz. I don't know how you can make a video and hold that sword, and you're talking somewhat about anti-Semitism, and you don't look at that sword and say, wait. I'm not going to use this sword in the video. This is like a really bad idea to use the sword in the video. The fact that he posed up with it and like it's so prevalent. I'm not saying it was anti-Semitic because I can't read people's minds, but it's at the very least a bad look. Like I can understand why someone would be like, yeah, why are you using the sword in the video?
Yeah.
So on that point, it left a bad taste in my mouth of Hasan being like, no, you're actually just delusional for thinking that. That was like, okay, you can just say like, first of all, I had nothing to do with this. This was IDubbbz. Second of all, sure, it's a bad look, but it's not actually anti-Semitic. That'd be what I would want him to say. The fact that he didn't say that to me felt like he was trying to play a little bit too much to this narrative of like Ethan is like foaming at the mouth, like running around, like screaming into the sky, which on the CPS note, I will say, if someone called CPS on, like if I had kids, someone called CPS on me, I would also crash out. Like I would also act like an insane person on the internet, which is like, is that justified? Maybe not, but like at the same time, is it understandable? Like, yeah.
I think to a degree it's justified for sure. Like it's understandable to be upset.
Sure. Yeah. When it comes to the denims thing, I just genuinely don't know enough to know like who. Do we even know who called the CPS person? Like, were they a viewer first? Or like,
we have no information on the person who called. No one knows. It's some sort. It's an Ethan Klein hater. That's all we know. You know.
Right. And I will say like, there is an aspect of like, I agree. It's probably like, at least like I'm never sharing that much detail about my life period on the internet. Like there are certain things where if you're doing content online, especially someone like Ethan who's a veteran, don't spend too much time talking about the intricacies of your family life because someone in bad faith is going to do something with that. With that being said, with like a long form podcast, it's easy to start yapping and not really realize like, wait, I shouldn't be saying this, especially if you're doing it like every single day or like every week. Maybe it's easy with being on camera for that long to let something slip. The one thing I saw of denims that I did not like was, I think, and maybe I saw this out of context, is someone told her like, oh, that's like traumatizing for like the kids to have CPS show up.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And she was like, actually, you don't start developing memories until you're like 8 years old. And I was like, what? Like, I don't think that's true. And like, I'm sure as like a toddler, that can traumatize you. And like trauma from being a baby or a toddler can definitely stick with you, even if you don't remember like specifically every event. So like that community of the Hasan and the denims, I don't know them well enough to give like, this is my full take on them. But I will say I don't get the best of vibes from them in that I think sometimes this is an issue people fall into with online politics that I try to avoid, which is that people think, oh, because I have the right opinion on the issues, I now get to be an asshole to other people because I'm correct on taxes or on the genocide or whatever. And I think like you should, just because you're right on like the genocide is bad or that like Trump is bad or whatever the given issue is, I don't think that that's free license to then start being an asshole to other people. And I know I'm actually in the minority because I think most people do engage with politics online in that way where it's like, oh, you voted for Trump, I'm now going to treat you like a subhuman piece of trash actually. Or like, you don't support Hasan, you're actually a fascist now. So like this stuff is like very easy to do and it feels good to do. But that's why I didn't watch the video, is because Ethan was reaching with the tier list, Hasan was reaching with the sword thing. At the end of the day, I'm like, the fact that this is a conversation as the mayor of Newark is arrested and aid has not been allowed into Gaza for weeks and the Constitution is being violated, I just feel like we're giving oxygen to things that are just ultimately interpersonal issues which should be resolved off of the internet. I don't give a fuck if IDubbbz or Ethan or Matt, like I don't care. I don't think it makes, it's like weird that there's all this like the snark subreddit and then like the Hasan hating subreddit, and it's like there's these entire communities of people that are spending hours and hours of their day either hating on Hasan or hating on Ethan. And it's like, dude, put that energy into like canvassing for the midterms or something instead of like whatever this is. With that being said, I don't think Hasan is anti-Semitic. I don't get that vibe from Hasan at all. And like, I guess vibes is not enough to go off of. I would say that the swastika sword thing was more so a question on like, did IDubbbz's little edgy 2016 humor come out a little bit? And he was like, this is going to fuck with Ethan. I'm not actually anti-Semitic, but like, he's going to see it. He's going to tweak out and freak out. And I think that's funny. I think that's more likely why IDubbbz did that. Because there's no way you pick up that sword and don't look at it and say, wait a second, this is not a great look. I think the little content cop IDubbbz came out, which fair enough, it was a content cop. And he was like, this is going to trigger Ethan. And I think that's kind of funny. And then we're going to gaslight him and make him look insane. It is some funny trolling. I'll give it's
it
pretty
would be funny
trolling,
if that's the
but-
case. I'm not gonna lie. It would be funny.
Yeah. But then I would just want them to say, like, yes, we made a very edgy joke that is kind of 2016 humor, not the best look right now, but like it's not coming from a place of genuine, like, we hate the Jews or whatever, which I don't get that vibe from them. But then again, I don't know any of these people well enough to say this guy's an anti-Semite or this guy's. These are very big accusations to levy against someone, and I just don't know them well enough. But I will say it's interesting. Like, I was paying attention for the first hour, but then I kind of realized, like, do I want to spend?
What am I doing?
I think it's like 4.5 hours. The video's like 4 hours and 50 minutes long. Like, what do I get from watching this ultimately? And I just, those are kind of my thoughts on it. Is like, it just seems like a lot of toxic interpersonal behavior and drama where I'm like, everyone seems to have done a little bit of something wrong. The CPS thing was probably crossing a big line to the extent that people were trying to downplay it. I don't think that Hasan directly called for that. I don't know if Denims did or didn't. I don't know her very well. There was some other guy, Bad Enchilada.
Bad Empanada's a freak.
Am I getting his name right? Bad Empanada.
He's a freak, bro. He's fucked up. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm sure there are crazy people involved, and I think when it comes to Ethan and Destiny, my assumption would be that it's their communities that are very intermingling, and then Ethan's community is taking things from the Destiny community and then bringing it to Ethan. Because my understanding is they don't really talk directly. Maybe that's a lie. I err on the side of believing them because that's a crazy thing to lie about, because it would be so easy to expose if that was a lie with like a screenshot or something.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, exactly. You're right.
This kind of plays into the entire age-old Destiny versus Hasan drama, like the liberals versus. Yeah,
I think I'm lagging.
It's the liberals versus leftist drama, and I just hate that entire. Like, I don't want to. No, you're good now. I think.
Okay.
Want to say something?
Wait, hold up. Let me.
Okay, yeah, you're working now.
Wait, hold on. Oh, wait. Let me do 3, 2, and you finish with 1. 3, 2. Okay, quite a bit of a delay.
1. So this entire beef between the Destiny community.
Okay, hello.
That
can you hear me?
I don't like making politics
into
internet drama.
I think I fixed it.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, so go ahead. Yeah, Destiny, Hasan, left versus liberal. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't like that entire drama. I think especially during the Trump administration, leftists and liberals and progressives should probably be all fighting on the same side for now until Trump is gone, and we can fight about, do we want that's kind of like the wrong conversation to be having right now. And just generally the entire Destiny versus Hasan thing, I get the feeling that both of them are not the best people on like a personal level. But then I agree, like when I see Hasan go against the right, when I see Destiny go against the right, I love both of that. Like, I think both of them do a great job with that. So I try to see people as like, what is the impact they're having on the political sphere? And then as people, I don't get attached to these people because like, I don't know Destiny, I don't know Hasan, I don't know Ethan. So like for me to sit here and try to psychoanalyze them and talk about whether they're doing the right thing to their kid or their wife, like I don't know, I don't give a fuck. Like ultimately I care, like, how is this helping the fight against authoritarianism and fascism in the country? The rest of the stuff I will leave to the subreddits and the people that care. But it is definitely, it's frustrating to me that it takes up so much oxygen online. Yeah. But it is entertaining, so I get it at the same time. Like, we just talked a lot about it because it is ultimately entertaining and interesting. So I also get the appeal.
I think the reason why I'm somewhat a little like interested in it, you know what I mean? The reason why I know all the lore and all that stuff is because low-key it is real politics, because, you know, like you said, we don't know these people personally. We don't know Ethan Klein, Hasan, Piker, Destiny personally. But I think their impact can be measured. I think Hasan's work has led to people in his community leading union efforts in their workplaces. I think in general he's being a big left-wing voice in a somewhat right-wing online space. I guess I do want to address some of the things that you were saying. I'm trying to like remember some of them. I'll start with the sword. I agree that the sword is not the best look. Yeah. I do kind of lean towards the idea that they just picked up one of the swords Hasan has on his shelves and just, because it wasn't for the video, it was just for like an Instagram post or whatever. Now, they could have looked at the picture and maybe said,
I believe
that wasn't the best look.
My only thing is, like, once they pick it up and they look at it, and it's like, oh, maybe I should put this back down.
Yeah, I agree. You know, if it was me, I think I would have noticed it. But I think it might be easier for us to say that after the fact. I don't know. But I agree. And the thing is, my understanding is they didn't delete it because... Hindsight is 2020, yep. Yeah, but they didn't delete it because if they did, then they would be like, yes, Ethan Klein was right. I feel like they're at a point where it's just like they don't want to give him a W at all, which might be a little petty, but, you know, is what it is. With the Denim's comment about the children's memories things, yeah, that was stupid. But, again, this is me trying to be fair to her. I think that was more stream rambling rather than trying to justify the CPS call, you know? I am definitely super biased. No doubt about it. I want to make that clear. But at the end of the day, I will say there is a positive thing to come out of it. The content nuke was made on Hasan. Hasan finally watched it recently on stream and raised something like $200,000 for some of the charities involved in Creator Clash. So they have like they're doing a lot of fundraising before the actual event itself to make sure that no matter the cost, the charities are going to make some money. And that leads me to a final question. Nice. And I think we can end off because we've been going on for a while, and I know you got a plan at 7 and it's 6:59. But I think because our buddy Mason, One Hand Politics, is mutuals with iDubbbz, I think he's probably going to be at Creator Clash. And you are a boxing fan. Loki, what if we all get in as VIPs? We get the influencer pass or whatever. I think that would be sick. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe we get floor seats and we get to see them fights and get the sweat thrown at us. I'm just throwing ideas out there.
If that'd be doable, I would love to do that. And I would also love for a Creator Clash or a similar thing. I think so much of this political beef stuff should be handled in the ring. Okay, I want to see
100%.
I want to see Ben Shapiro get in the ring with David Pakman. I want to see Destiny versus Hasan might not be fair because Hasan's probably like 5 weight classes bigger than him. But like I think there's a lot of potential. Honestly, a purely political influencer like boxing event. I think that would go crazy. You could raise money for some cause that everyone agrees is good. I think that'd be super cool, and I would love to see someone do that actually has the resources to do it.
Yeah, that would be dope. Who's Dean fighting?
Who's Dean fighting? That's a good question.
I don't even know his height or weight. He seems like a skinny guy.
He's shorter. He's like, I don't want to sound like I'm insulting him. I think he's like 5'4", 5'5", maybe.
You gotta fight that one fucking dude that like made a whole video on him.
But like, I'm trying to think who we could. Yeah, Dean and Parker would have no shortage of creators to pick from.
Yeah.
I would love my dream fight in that space, which I think just visually would make sense, is Hasan Piker versus Steven Crowder. I just think like that fight just makes sense to me. They both got like the beard kind of like buff look to them, but they're like very much polar opposites. I think that'd be a banger fight.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I feel that. Who would you fight? I feel like I asked you this question before off stream, but
who would I fight? I'm skinny right now, so I'm in the process of bulking. But assuming it's around my current weight class. I mean, honestly, the person that I would most like to fight, but I feel like it's probably not the best idea to platform, and I'm way smaller than them, is like someone like Nick Fuentes. Like, it would just be fun to beat someone up that's like a pure, just hateful white supremacist anti-Semite. He's also kind of similar to me, I think, size-wise. Maybe he's a bit shorter. Other than that, I'm like blanking on right-wing creators right now, so I don't know.
For me, I'm low-key small as fuck. I'm not gonna lie, I'm 5'2", so I need someone short, and that's kind of gonna be a little difficult to find. I don't know any like creators that I know, like political creators specifically, that I know are short. Non-political, and I'm not even saying I want to fight them for beef reasons. I would be respectful, all that. I respect these people, but like I think it'd be kind of fun. I want to fight Jason Deween. He's more fit than me. He's a little taller than me, right? But I got to lose the weight. I got to train a little bit. And, you know, I feel like maybe it's the thing about being a guy. I don't know. I feel like I can beat, like, anybody up. I look at, like, a fucking 6 foot tall motherfucker and be like, I could win that, bro. Liver shot. Just hit the right spots.
That is part of being a guy, and it's also an illusion. Yeah, it's an illusion that's broken so quickly once you actually start training boxing. Like I used to be the same way. Like I'd be hitting the pads and I was like, I'm a lethal weapon now because I can hit the pads. And then you start sparring and you're like, okay, I understand now that like the average person, I think I could probably beat up because like the average person doesn't box. But anyone who actually does box, it's like a totally different story where it's like if someone's been boxing for like 5-6 years, it doesn't matter how tough you think you are, like they're probably gonna kick your ass. Pretty much anyone who's the average person is gonna get their ass beat by them. So like I definitely feel that, but like I think it would be cool for this because specifically most creators doing it would not have experience, so it'd be like beginner versus like someone very experienced versus like a novice. And if this happened, I would also just pretend like I don't know how to box. Give me someone with no experience. I'm totally new to the sport, and then I would just destroy them. It's probably unethical, but it'd be fun.
Okay, final question because I know you have to go somewhere. So we're gonna finish off with this about your boxing. Stylistically, how do you fight? What do you fight like?
I mean, I fight orthodox, and like I'm not the most experienced. Like I've never fought an amateur fight. Like I do sparring once in a while, so like. If I was to do an actual fight, I would need to lock in a lot more than I am right now. Like currently I go once a week pretty much. But hold on one second. Yeah, I fight orthodox and I have a little bit of it depends on the person I'm fighting, but typically I fight pretty standard, like keep your hands up at all times. I try to work off my jab and then jab, flip, take a step in as you slip after the jab to get closer into the pocket, body shot, headshot, like pretty basics of boxing. Like I don't have any like special like drunken style or like all this like expert shit. I just focus on the fundamentals because I do think like in most real combat scenarios, like if someone was to try to fight me on the street like a random guy, you just need a good jab and a good cross ultimately. Like all this stuff, like I'm gonna do a lead hook and then I'm gonna do a spin, then I'm gonna do this and that. Like that stuff, it works a lot more in like the professionals and amateurs. I'm very much just like keep your hands up, block if you need to, slip if you need to, and then just jab their head off and then hit them with a cross pretty much.
Yeah, I guess we can finish off with this point. I think if I was ever fighting, and I want to do some influencer boxing shit in the long run. Like I want to before I turn 30, bro, because we got to do it while we're in our prime. And I want to develop a style like Prince Nassim Hamed. You know, he fucking it's amazing. It's amazing what this guy could do. And I think I'm a southpaw, which I'm right-handed, but like because I grew up watching Manny Pacquiao, I just like adopted his stance. It just felt natural. So I'm one of these right-handed southpaws. Like I feel like that would throw a lot of people off. And then you fight like the Prince, and nobody's gonna get it, bro. It's gonna overwhelm a motherfucker. Anyway, with that in mind, we will be back, guys. We are going to be okay.